So on this, I put some glue instead of screws. I did screw it here just to kind of hold it, and I put this in to hold it while I was gluing it. And I'm just using regular glue. And this might not hold very well, but what I'm going to be doing now is putting some of the silicone on the sides. This is a lot bigger for casting, but we're gonna need the silicone. And we're gonna close up these seams. And it's a little bit difficult to kind of drop the... So note to self, next time I need to make more of a space so I can work, because this is very difficult to kind of get my screw gun in here, or my silicone gun. But I think this should be fine. It's just, it's a little bit more of an annoyance. So this is definitely just a very temporary way of getting this. And I'm getting some silicone. So I was not thinking that I would be using this on this, but I made a little bit too much for the other one, so I'm just gonna put a quick amount, just a thin coat of this, and hopefully I'll have enough to cover the entire piece here. So this initial polyurethane coat is always a little bit thinner, and if you put it on the top, it seems to kind of drip and go into all the little crevices. But we want to cover the entire sculpture here. I never thought I'd like polyurethane. I think the downside with polyurethane is that it's like a lot of chemicals, and I don't particularly like working with things that could potentially have different effects. By the way, wear a respirator if you use this, or a mask of some kind. Alright guys, so I have let this dry, and the way to tell that this is dry is that if you touch it, it should not stick to your finger, but it should be still tacky or sticky, and it is. And it's now ready for the next step. Alright, at this point we are going to mix another batch of this, because I don't have that much, so I don't even have to measure it. It's about the same. So we're going to use all the remaining polyurethane for this, and all right, so this is pretty much it. So I'm gonna just pour it onto this bucket. I have my spatula here, and I'm going to scrape as much as I can from here. I'm gonna use all of this up. And this is the remaining rubber. This is much thicker, so it'll take a little bit to kind of get out of the bucket. Remember, you have a working time of about 10 minutes with this stuff. Okay, so that is pretty much all the rubber that I have. I'm just gonna see if I can scrape the rest of this. And now, of course, we're going to just mix it all up. And this is quite a bit of rubber. So this is the Hellboy, and one of the things I did, I added already one coat of the rubber, or two coats I should say. But the parts that I couldn't get to are over here in the back of the head and the horns. And that's what I'm going to be building up now. Just add, I'm going to try and like remove the undercuts from the horns. That's the part that's a little bit more difficult. Try to create a smooth mold. That is, keep it as smooth as possible, because like without any rises, at least that's my goal, because that's going to help with the mother mold. The mother mold is the plaster cast or the plaster mold that I'm going to be making after this dries. Here is the other one. It dried overnight. This is the Hellboy mold. As you can see, it's definitely a little bit thinner than what I would like, but what we're going to do now is fill this entire box with plaster. And this is the plaster. You can see this is the alligator and snake sculpture that I did. But I am going to fill this up to the exact brim with the plaster. And the reason I want to make it flat is that it'll be a lot easier to make a mold. And of course, I am learning how to make molds. So for me, it's been a learning process. And the reason I want this flat, you see these? These are mother molds that I made for various sculptures. They're shaped in such a way that it makes it hard to fill with plaster. So when I put my latex in there, the problem with the sculptures is that it takes a lot to keep it like flat on the table, and these things just keep rolling, so you have to like level it.